Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're going to be taking a look at r/relationship advice, where OP is dumbfounded about what he found out about his wife's past. Oh no. Anyways, let's begin. My wife lied to me about her past and sexual history. Oh, no. I have a strong suspicion that this is gonna be another doormat story. Well, hopefully we will suffer through this together, gentlemen.
To give a better understanding of my situation, I'd like to give some context at least. Names have been changed. It all started out pretty romantic. First time I saw her was about 9 years ago, sitting on the bench crying, next to the bench I was sitting on in the park. I approached her. We got along very well, talking for 5 hours about her current relationship with Tom, which wasn't really serious. We met up several times after, all with me giving her space and without me making flirt approaches, since I didn't want to take advantage of the whole situation. Soon, like 3 weeks in, we went to a few clubs to dance. We became closer, but all with me giving her space, which she told me she appreciated a lot. One night after going to a club with her, I asked her politely if I could crash her couch for 2 to 3 hours, separate rooms of course, until my first train going home would arrive. She denied, saying it's not her thing to let guys she doesn't know too well overnight in her home. Although I had to rest in the train station for 3 hours, I just thought to myself, wow, she's a keeper. 3 weeks later, so 6 weeks after we first met, we kissed and got into a relationship. We both set rules in our relationship. This is when things started to get a little bit odd. A few days in, she told me she was still heartbroken from her ex-boyfriend Aaron, and she still had feelings for him, and that she's kinda jealous of his new girlfriend. I was a little uncomfortable, but it didn't bother me that much, since we were first getting to know each other. We then continued talking about our former relationships and sexual history. It was important for both of us to be honest and transparent. I was pretty much a good boy, never had anything crazy going in my past or whatsoever. Her history was a bit different. She told me she always had major issues with sex, which meant there had to be a lot of space and emotional connection in order for her to even make it physically and mentally happen. She then told me when she had her, then 15, first boyfriend Dale, then 19, it was already a problem, but she still always tried to make it happen, several times a week. After 3 years being in a relationship, she found out that he cheated on her for at least a year. Afterwards, she was in a longer relationship with a former coworker, Owen. They were in a relationship for 5 years. He was pretty lazy and she told me she had to do everything for him. Sex was also then complicated. That relationship then ended. After that, she spent some time in Australia where she met another guy, Quint. They were also in a relationship for a few months. Also still issues with sex. After that relationship, she met another guy, Aaron. She told me that both of them had something like a special, spiritual connection. They were in a relationship. He soon noticed that sex was an issue with her, and then slowly hurt her by having an on and off relationship. Well, after being told that, I was shocked and also angry that all those guys could hurt such a kind-hearted and honest girl. 2 or 3 months into our relationship, she got pregnant. Both of us were the happiest people on earth. I then tried helping her let go of her ex-boyfriend Aaron so that we could start a family, clean. It was also a very hurtful first year for me, since it wasn't easy for me to find out that she had frequent contact with 3 of her ex-boyfriends. I once saw in the search history on our shared laptop that she was still stalking her ex-boyfriend Aaron and his new girlfriend on Facebook. She did this several times behind my back, even after me telling her to stop. Then I come earlier from work. She arrived shortly after me. I asked her where she's been. She tried dodging, then finally told me that she met up with her ex-boyfriend Owen. I was pretty hurt and angry that she neither asked nor informed me, and even tried keeping it a secret. According to her, they only talked. Years passed. We now have small 2 kids. Last 4 to 6 years, we have sex like every 3 to 8 weeks. It has gotten a little better after having lots of couples therapy. It is now like every 2 to 4 weeks. But 99.9% of the times we have sex, it's me that initiating, and then only just before I go completely crazy because of my sex drive. I could go several times a day. I always wondered what I could do to make our relationship and sex better. I try to give her as much free time as possible. She also tells me she knows that I love her. I try not to bother her about sex at all if it's possible. We talk when she wants to. Sometimes she also listens what I have to say. I'm a pretty involved dad. I have a well-paying and safe job. I try to make some body contact, surprise her in the shower to give her signals. She pretty much always denies. When we have sex, it is tailored to her needs as well as her issues. If I say I need more sex, she will punish me by ignoring me and not sleeping with me for 4 weeks or so, or she'll tell me not to complain so often. She knows that I have been having sleeping problems for 2 years and how I'm going mad with so little sex. Now, a few days ago, we watched a movie together. We talked about that movie and something slipped out of her mouth. She told me she, then 14, once had a guy, 22, lying naked beside her. Nothing happened according to her. I was shocked. I wanted to know what else happened, what I don't know of. She then tells me she, then 15, had her first boyfriend Al in summer camp, whom she slept with. Continues to tell me before we met, she also had an affair in college in our town with a guy she only wanted to sleep with. No emotions, no relationship. That happened several times. She went on telling me that her other ex-boyfriend, Aaron, told her that back then he would only come to visit her to sleep with her, nothing else. She agreed, but what comes next just broke me. She told me that a while before we met, she also once met a complete stranger on the train and that both of them talked for a while. They then switched addresses. Then she said a few days later evening time someone rang her doorbell. Out of nowhere, this guy Anthony and another random guy who accompanied Anthony stood in front of her door. They said they wanted to surprise her. She let both of them in. They drank a bit and soon there was sexual tension. She then went on to sleep with this complete stranger and was also thinking about sleeping with the other guy. Both guys wanted to have a threesome with her, but she refused the threesome because this guy Anthony was in a relationship. A few days later, she then again slept with this stranger that visited her that evening. I was so in shock to hear all of that, especially because that is definitely not my type of partner I would want to be with. And what makes the matters worse is that she was able to sleep with all these guys. Suddenly no sex issues, no requirements at all. Even complete strangers can ring her doorbell and sleep with her within a few hours. I mean, I was told she had problems. It's like telling someone you have been disabled all your life and can't walk, but were able to walk every now and then. I suffered the last 4 to 6 years with her issues. I feel like I was being lied to all this time, all the suffering. I had a completely different picture of her. All 9 years she told me the complete opposite. I have broken down several times a day the last few days, and she tells me not to make such a big deal out of it. I had to beg her to be there for me, like calm me down. I got a cold state instead. She decided to go to her mom since she feels overwhelmed. No tears or apologies from her side. My soul is dead. I'm emotionally devastated. I am fighting every day to do normal things. I don't know what to do.
Oh, OP, you moron. You fucking idiot. There were a lot of red flags, so I have zero idea how you could have missed any of them. I mean, not over her ex, a high body count, and was seeing different men behind your back just to give a few? And you still fucking married her? Oh, dude, you idiot. Look, OP, she sees you as her safety net. Nothing more. She's not attracted to you in any way. Physical, emotional, mentally, whatever. She's not attracted to you. She's just after your money, dude. Come on. Look, man, I sincerely want to be sympathetic with you. You know, you're going through a tough time and you wanted support. Yeah, I get it. But dude, you did this to yourself. You just shot yourself in the fucking foot. I'm sorry. I can't feel sorry for you because I'm too busy laughing about your idiocy, man. Look, man, get your children DNA tested because there's a good chance that you are not the father. I mean, you know her exes and you know that she has been meeting them behind your back, so we have an idea just in case. There's very low risk of you leaving this marriage, man. So go do it. Why are you torturing yourself? Start developing being independent again and do not be so into her. Start finding other ways to keep your mind busy. Stop tolerating being taken for granted for, man. Come on. Oh. I mean, come on, dude. What the fuck do you want me to say except that you should be packing your bags, running for the hills, and filing for divorce? I mean, you just wasted your life caring, providing for a slut that doesn't even appreciate you, and quite possibly raising other men's children. Congratulations, man. Congratulations, you simp. Look, Gentlemen, this is exactly what modern feminist wants in a man. Has a lot of money, moronic, and submissive. May God have mercy on your soul in your next relationship, OP. I hope you learn your lesson. Good luck. And now, for today's second story. My girlfriend gets home from trip and informs me that she was cheating on me while abroad. Posted by Reddit user Cat Slaughter.
This just happened 2 days ago, so I'm still pretty much in shock and trying to process it all. I have been with my girlfriend for about 2.5 years. We live together and have pets together, fortunately no kids. Our relationship has been serious and we've talked about spending our lives together, getting married and having kids. We are definitely out of the lusty new couple phase and maybe have been fighting a bit more than usual lately. The meat of it is that she went to Bali with her stepdad's girlfriend and stepdad's girlfriend's son. I couldn't go because of classes that I'm taking. The Airbnb they were staying at had only 2 beds, which she informed me of when she got there, that she would be sleeping in the same bed with the son. She assured me that I had nothing to worry about and I trusted her. I've always felt really confident in the strength of our relationship, so I didn't think twice. So they end up having sex about a week into a 2-week trip. She tells me that it didn't happen just once, but somewhere around 10 times over the course of the rest of the trip. I'm obviously devastated by this news. I freaked out, flipped a coffee table, broke a lamp, broke a beer bottle and punched a hole in a door. Not at all proud about any of that. She tells me she's sorry, she regrets it all and that she still wants to pursue a relationship with me if I could ever forgive her. We've talked about counseling, and I've stated one of my demands is her going to AA. She's an actual self-proclaimed alcoholic, and that's where a lot of our issues stem from, I think. Whether or not she deserves it, I'm thinking that I would rather stay with her and try to make things work. I still love her dearly and I'm not ready to give up. On top of that, even if we were to break up, I wouldn't be able to afford our place on my own and would probably be homeless for a little while. My question is if anyone has been through something similar and had things work out. I was in a 2-year relationship previously with another cheating alcoholic. I tried to make things work with her, and it simply turned into a cycle of emotional abuse and reoffense. I'm wondering if there's any hope for salvaging our relationship or if it's just basically doom after something like this. TLDR, girlfriend cheated on me on a trip abroad, wondering if our relationship is salvageable.
And we have a 2 for 2 here, gentlemen. Oh man, fuck me. I'm so sorry, dudes. I mean, I'm not sure if this is a real story or some sort of Pornhub fantasy. I mean, really, 10 times. She slept with her stepbrother 10 times in the room right next to their parents. I mean, does she even feel bad the first time or somewhere between the first and the 10th time? Sleeping with your stepbrother? What? What you doing, stepbro? Oh man, oh fuck, that's so unprofessional. Alright, OP, I'm sorry to tell you this, but what you are considering doing is completely idiotic. I mean, you already got cheated on in the past. You tried reconciling and you said in this very post that it got abusive and went downhill way faster than it should. So why the fuck are you even considering doing the same mistakes again? What the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Seriously, you have a brain. You should use it. And let me tell you a little bit of secret here that very few people know. Come here really close. Come here really close. It's called thinking, and it's actually really good for you. You should try it sometimes. Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/divorce, where OP's wife threw away her marriage just so she can have a fling. Let's begin. My wife had an affair and we're getting a divorce. Posted by Reddit user Raptor Stalin.
I've been with my wife for 15 years and married for 4. A few months ago, I started a new job which left me stressed and busy, along with periodic business trips. After some suspicion, I finally caught her, and she came clean about sleeping with another man, but I believe they've been engaging in an affair for months. We've quickly decided to divorce and move on. I'm struggling with the thought of being without her, and the fact that she's so much happier with someone else. I found pictures of them together which I regret seeing. Where do I go from here? How do I pick up the pieces of my shattered life? Edit. Thank you all for your kind words. This pain is fresh and I'm trying my best to reach out to everyone I can. I need to go get my things after I get home this evening, which will be incredibly difficult, along with saying goodbye to my dog. Edit 2. This is incredibly difficult to walk away from everything. I'm incredibly close to her family and I'm struggling to pull the trigger. Edit 3. She has no desire to reconcile, and at this point nor do I. I've decided to take the dog with me and move on. We've been replaced in her life in a matter of days. I married a monster. Edit 4. I'm officially moved out and into my brother's place in another city. I feel extremely hopeful for my future, but I can't help but reminisce on all my good memories of us. My dog is taking this as hard as I am, but having lots of family around has been extremely valuable to us both. I'm learning to reach out to people for once in my life and not rely on one person or try to deal with it alone. Sharing my story online was never something I'd ever had considered in the past, and it's the best decision I've made so far. All the words here are reassuring and helping me deal with this incredible pain and suffering, one day at a time. And now for OPS update. Wow, what a week. I can't thank the people of this community enough. I received an incredible amount of support and reassurance over the last week, and I'm thankful I had the courage to post here. This was the best decision I made in the first few hours of the bomb dropping. I have worked out rough details of the divorce with my soon-to-be ex-wife, and she's continuing to try and manipulate and be a victim in all of this. Thanks to the support of everyone in my life, including her sister and brother, I've been able to see past her behavior. I still have to work through not trying to care for her, because that's all I've done for 15 years. But I can't help but be disgusting and ashamed of her. She will never be in my life again. I realized the things she wanted me to improve on in our marriage were caused by her. I was unhappy with her and was afraid to admit that to myself, and I'm better off without her. I deserve so much more, and I am not settling for anything but what I deserve. I'm incredibly optimistic for the future. I'm back in my hometown, connecting with my family and friends again, dreaming of a new future for me and my pup. I'm hitting the gym this week, meeting multiple friends I haven't talked to in years, and I hope to return to work after this. She didn't destroy my life. She gave me a new one, and I'm going to make the best of it.
It's really great that you're able to turn a bad situation into a real positive outcome, OP. It's nice to see something like this posted more on this channel, because if I'm being honest, I post a lot of shit show stories here. And yeah, so good on you, my friend. I'm sure you'll be fine. I'm sure that someday you're gonna find a loving and faithful woman with whom you can build a real family with. Good luck. Now for today's second story. I don't deserve this. Posted by a throwaway Reddit account.
I don't deserve to be treated this way, discarded like trash, cheated on, and then made to feel like I am the cause of all her unhappiness. It's not fair that she can lie and cheat, and then I am made to pay for her to have a better life. I did everything I was supposed to. I was caring, emotionally available. I worked out and stayed in great shape. I made tons of money. I put us in houses, took care of anything she asked me to do, built our family up into something great. Helped her get her boob job, her tattoos, her laser hair removal, all so she could turn around and be with someone else. Why does she have to treat me like I am instantly garbage? I'm 6 weeks into my wife telling me she wants a divorce after 12 years of marriage. I found out very quickly after that there is a new partner, and it has been going on for some time. Obviously, that's usually how these things go. I'm buying out her half of the equity in the house because it's only my name on the mortgage and I have an amazing interest rate on it. But I still have to pay her child support and alimony. She's going to get a big chunk of money from the house, and then with what I have to pay, she's going to be making more than I do each month. How is that fair? My entire life has been uprooted, and there is nothing I can do about it. She's a monster for doing this to our family for a quick new fling. She shouldn't be able to be rewarded for what she's put me through. I hurt so bad. Why can't she hurt it all? I know I'll be okay. I'm not broken, and I'm not a loser. She's not the only one that is attractive in this relationship. I'm just hurt. I didn't deserve this.
Oh man, I'm so sorry, OP. You're right, you don't deserve this. No one deserves this. No one deserves their wife of 12 years cheating on them, getting half of their shit, and then getting paid to take their kids away from them. No man deserves that. But the horrible reality is that is how marriages work in 2022. In fact, that is how marriages have been working at least for the past 20 years. And I don't think it's going to be changing anytime soon. They get rewarded for their destruction. It's crazy. I'm sorry I don't have anything better else to say other than this. I know it's going to be hard to believe, but it does get better. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some hard work. But trust me, it will. Hang in there, OP. And now for today's final story. Should I tell my wife that I received a sex tape of her in the mail? Posted by Reddit user Thrown It Away Study.
This is an odd thing. Wife and I have been married 20 years. I've never suspected her of cheating and our sex life has been outstanding. First of the year, I receive a package in the mail. It's a DVD addressed to me and a typed note that says, "Your eyes only." It's my wife having sex, separately, with 3 guys. She was younger, much younger. Based on body and appearance and hairstyle, it was around the time we were going out, either before, during, or after we were engaged. She grew her hair longer for the wedding and kept it that way. First, I've no idea who sent it to me other than one of those 3 guys in the DVD, none of which I know. I'm assuming it's one of my wife's ex. Second, I've no idea why they sent it. Are they trying to say she was screwing around on me? The tape isn't time-stamped, so I don't have a frame of reference. She kept her hair short for years until we were engaged, so it could have been during a block of time, certainly before we dated. And also, what are they trying to achieve if this was taken before we dated? I know my wife had other partners. Hell, I had 3 times the partners she did before we married. But that was 20 years ago. I think we're past that. But apparently this person or persons isn't. The whole thing is strange. I'm not sure what's going on. I haven't told my wife. I'm not sure how she would take it. She's very sexual and adventurous, but I don't think she'd like the idea of her past catching up to her. But I don't think I'll get to the bottom of this unless I tell her. Update. I'm overwhelmed by the responses. Thank you for your interest. I did speak to my wife yesterday afternoon. Some mentioned letting her watch it in private and I gave her that option. She did and we talked at length. Some of it is a bit clearer now. The 2 amateur-looking videos are 2 roommates taken on the same night. That's why the camera doesn't move and that's why the room is the same. I asked why the bed looks different, and she replied the sheets were a bit messy so they changed them before they had another go. The other is a boyfriend she dated when her and I met, before we actually started dating. She knows this man is friends with one of the before-mentioned roommates, and thinks it's him who got the 3 videos together and sent them to us. She admits that last summer he tried connecting with her on Facebook. When she did, he tried to make it sexual again, so she stopped. She thinks he sent the DVD to cause an issue with us. For the first time, I now have doubts. Her answers are logical but seem a bit off to me. And honestly, I may be just upset that she did 2 guys in one night. I know it was 20 years ago, but that's still hard to take. Call me shallow if you want. Also, she didn't seem shaken by the DVD or the fact I had it, merely irritated that this person sent it. I had the idea she'd rather I didn't have it, but now that I did, oh well. It still leaves many questions unanswered, such as why the tapes are from 96 to 97, and the DVD was made in 2013, but I'm just getting it now. That may be minor, but it may be everything. Plus, how does this gentleman know where I live? Facebook doesn't give you that information. Being in contact with someone does, so now you see why I have doubts. Thanks to you all for your concern and feedback. I love my wife and cherish her, and her past is her past, but for some reason it's slapping us in the face right now. I will take some time between the 2 of us to figure out what is truly going on. Edit 2. I want to clarify something. I've been getting a lot of feedback, mostly negative, where everyone is irritated with me that I'm upset with my wife for being with 2 men in the same night. None of my business. It was 20 years ago, I should man up, that sort of thing. Look, I said it was hard to take. Most men understand their partner was with different people before them. But seeing their spouse with 2 men on the same night is hard to handle. I didn't say I was changing my view of her, or leaving, or any other angst you want to put on me. It's just a difficult thing for a married man to see and realize. I'll get past it. But it's not an easy thing. And for everyone who says it was 20 years ago, lighten up. I challenge you to sit back, grab a beer, and watch 2 young men have intercourse with your wife on the same night, and see how you feel about it. Frustrated at best. You won't love her less, but you'll not feel great afterwards, trust me. So thanks for everyone calling me an asshole, but until you're in that position, I'll ignore you. Thank you very much. Final edit. This will be my final edit. Thank you all for your support, but all I will say is, it's time for me to make some decisions. I hacked into my wife's Facebook account. Childish and immature, I'll admit, but I did it nonetheless. And I found things disturbing enough that I need to think long and hard about what I do next. I've given her the benefit of the doubt through this entire thing. Now a shadow had been cast and I'm questioning her more than ever before. Heartbroken is putting it mildly. It's time for me to work on my life and myself. Thanks to everyone and their interest.
Oh man, you're right, OP. This is very strange, and I hope that you did eventually find your answers. You mentioned that you hacked your wife's Facebook account and you found things that is so disturbing, it's making you think long and hard about what your next move is going to be. That a dark cloud hangs over you and that it's very heartbreaking. Look, I know it's none of my business and this was posted 4 years ago, but couldn't you at least just said what you found? I mean, again, this was posted 4 years ago, but that's exactly it. It was 4 years ago. An update would have been nice. After all, you left us in a massive cliffhanger and a very dark note too. I hope you're doing well, man. Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're going to be taking a look at r/Surviving Infidelity, where OP's fiance had a one-night stand and refuses to cut contact with the affair partner. Let's begin. D-Day was today. Never thought I'd be here. Posted by Reddit user Reds in a Box.
My fiance and I have been together for about 5 years. After months of her seeming annoyed, distant, and somewhat secretive with her phone, I say somewhat because of the times this has happened to me before. She hid things very well. I finally prayed it out of her today that she had a one-night stand with a co-worker, unprotected, in the back of a fucking car. To say I'm devastated lacks justice. We have a son who turns 1 tomorrow, and he's the light of my life. I'm so terrified of what his life will be like, not ever knowing how his parents were when they were together. To make it simple, I'll lay out some things that I have done. I had already had a hunch something was wrong for so long. I had terms of reconciliation already made in case that's the route I wanted to go. She left for half the day and I told her to come back so we could attempt to see if she was willing to put in the work to try and salvage our relationship. The terms were: 1. She personally calls the affair partner's wife and tells her what happened. 2. She tells her mother and father what she did to me and our family. 3. She has spyware placed on her phone until I feel that it is no longer necessary. 4. She cuts contact with her affair partner and any other men she may be talking to. I know of one she casually talks to but recently found out. 5. She is to do one of the following: A. Switch shifts completely to avoid contact with affair partner. B. Find a new job. C. Switch departments completely. 6. She will explain in detail what happened leading up to and during this affair. She will be honest and truthful about any other affairs. And if there is any hint of trickle-truthing or dishonesty, there will be no reconciliation. She read the letter in terms and said she wouldn't do the first, didn't want to feel like she was in jail, etc. I told her the terms were non-negotiable. I will wait for an answer from her tomorrow before I start looking into what needs to be done for custody of our son. It needs to be said that I really do love this woman. Beyond words, I am hurt and angry. I kept my cool through this entire process, which was hard, but I did. She accepted that what she did was wrong, but I just don't feel remorse yet. It's really hard to say, but I feel like she was too scared to leave, so she did this to make me force her out. I'm having trouble not focusing on the thoughts and images of another man with her. I don't know him, but I did find his Facebook, and to say he is far more cut and built than I am is an understatement. I feel so less than, so much so that she doesn't know yet that I may not ever bring myself to touch her again, because I feel I will always be in the shadow of the night she threw it all away. I guess if anyone here can help, I'd appreciate it. Any advice is also appreciated.
OP, I don't mean to sound like a complete ass, but you need to get a paternity test on your son. Even if you know the child is yours, a paternity test is a physical representation to your fiance how devastated you are and how much trust is lost. You want advice, OP? Here's the best one you will ever hear. Leave. Never ever reconcile with a cheater. Taking back a cheater is like eating someone else's vomit. It's just gross. Don't marry a cheater, man. You shouldn't need to be your partner's jailer. Just start over with someone else. And now, for OP's update.
We have been working on reconciliation. She refused to quit her job, or at least change shifts to be completely off a schedule where they would work together. She still refuses to this day. She would tell me that she doesn't talk to him and that they do not work in the same departments. None of any of that put me at ease. The nights she was at work have been absolute hell for me. I can't sleep. My adrenaline runs nonstop. I constantly text her and ask who she's with. I want her to prove it, etc., etc. A couple of weeks ago, I found a book that was something along the lines of X Steps to Power, and after briefly reading the back, I realized it was essentially a book that aims to give its readers the tools needed to manipulate people. I knew this was something she would never read, so I asked her where it came from, and she said her affair partner. I told her I would throw it away for her, and she stopped me and said she would have her work friend give it back to him. I just shut down. I was so tired of having to explain to her that she shouldn't concern herself with her affair partner. He's going through a divorce and probably losing everything he's worked for with his wife because of what they did. I'm sure the absolute last thing he was worried about was a $25 book, but she just had to make sure he got it back. She went to work that week, and following when was done with her work week, I asked her to leave. I told her that it doesn't feel at all like she wants to put forth the effort and the work for reconciliation, and I needed some space to think about things. It was essentially a separation under the understanding we were not split up yet. She agreed and left the following day. During this discussion, she was very, very upset, and I explained the book thing and how she wouldn't quit her job, and she said she understood. She also told me that her affair partner had told her friend from work that he was upset with her for telling me everything. I kind of scoffed and said, it should be pretty telling what he thinks of you if that's true. The following days were extremely tough for me. I had waves of anger, waves of resentment, and the obvious questions of, is she talking to him? Is she talking to someone else? Aside from all that, the feeling of missing her, and most of all my son, was extremely difficult. When she left, I cried and cried while holding my boy. I felt like I'd never see him again. And the days following were that feeling times 100. I asked her to come back after a week. I'd hoped I could start moving forward in a positive manner, and I tried. Things were okay. We were intimate. I still feel like I wanted to be intimate for the wrong reasons, and she also felt that way. Fast forward to about a few days ago. I was feeling so disrespected and angry about her not quitting her job or getting her STD testing done. I thought to myself, if it was one time, and she told me out of the guilt she felt and the fear of losing me, I could forgive and move on, but no, it was 3 more times where she went back. 3 more times where she left me at home with our son and didn't care about me or my love. I also found out she was in his home, and before that time, and before I had found out, I sat her down and told her if she wasn't happy, I wouldn't hate her for leaving. This conversation happened in the middle of her affair. We cried, and she told me that she didn't want to leave, and that she loved me and wanted to stay. After I gave her a chance to leave, she didn't, and still went out a week or 2 later and slept with him. If that isn't the most disrespectful kick in the teeth I've ever gotten, I don't know what is. So we had it out. She said that she, again, won't quit, and that she figured since I got tested and was clear she didn't need to. I told her it was those conditions or she needed to leave. It divulged into the same type of situation where she left, and we were still together. So Friday, she asked me to stay for dinner at her mom's before taking our son back to my house. I did, and things were good. She seemed happy to see me and seemed like she wanted to be affectionate to me. Later, we had some time alone and we talked. I asked her to make sure that we were not seeing other people. She said she didn't want to, but threw in some wording that for her, if it happened, it happened. That stung more than I thought. She then said that she wanted to continue to stay at her mom's to find herself, and she's enjoying her independence and has considered looking into getting her own place. I told her that was a very different thing than what was happening now, and she said she knew. I also expressed that I was not okay with seeing other people, and that if that happened, we needed to tell each other so we knew it was over. I took my boy and headed home, and it didn't bother me as much. It didn't hurt and stick with me like I thought. I missed her. I shot one last shot after I laid my son down for bed to see if I could find an ounce of her truly showing me that she wants to chase me and not the other way around, and I didn't get it. So last night I went out with some friends and I genuinely had a great night. I didn't think about her. I didn't concern myself with what was happening while I wasn't around. I was just lost in the chatter, catching up with people I hadn't spent quality time with in years. Last night I realized I don't deserve to give any more of myself to the person I gave everything I had to. I don't deserve to wonder every night, and I don't deserve to feel so wrong about something that was not my fault. She has had a lot of very bad things happen to her in the past year and a half, with her best friend and oldest brother passing away. I don't doubt or discredit she was not in the best headspace, but I'm tired of people using that as an excuse for what she did to me and our family. There is no excuse for this, so I told her I was done. I laid down some ground rules for co-parenting, and we are having a discussion about custody with our son soon. I have no desire for a nasty battle with her, and I genuinely feel she does not either. My son deserves to be with his mother all the same as me, and that's not something I will try and take away from her so long as she doesn't with me. I am currently still looking for a good counselor. I live in a very rural area, and unless I want to drive a lot, I may have to go a different route via online or something of the sort. Today has been so good. My son and I have been playing trucks together. He's showing me how good he can get up and down off the furniture. And he's also trying to talk and keeps trying to say fishy, because he has a bunch of little toys that are magnetic fish with a little fishing pole he loves to play with. I am financially very fucked. I have a lot to figure out to be able to maintain my lifestyle and keep my house. Bankruptcy is something that is on the table, but I don't plan on going that route unless I absolutely have to. We were not overextended by any means before, but after taking my dream job I also took a substantial pay cut to start, and I trusted her enough to give up my financial freedom with her help to pursue my dream, and it burned me. I won't quit the job, I'll figure something out. It's times like these I wish I was like Pip from Great Expectations, and had some mysterious benefactor to help, but that's not the real world. That's not how that works. Also to add, I've decided against a paternity test for my son. Even if he wasn't mine, he is mine and always will be. He's one of the biggest factors helping me move forward, and I love him too much to let the possibility of her hurting me more by finding out he's not my blood to even consider what I would do after finding that out. I would like to sincerely thank all of you who have given words of advice or will give more words on this post. Those of you who reached out to message me, also thank you for your support. I'm excited to see what the future holds. I still have my bad days. I still have my days where I miss her. But now I feel like I've made the first big step in moving forward and starting my life over.
OP, I still highly suggest that you get a paternity test done for legal or medical reasons. You don't even have to tell anyone the results. But you don't want to find out when someone else is trying to claim him, or he's in the hospital needing blood or a transplant. You don't want to get surprised by that later. Look man, other than that, I don't have any more advice for you, because what you are doing right now is the only thing that makes sense. She isn't willing to put in the work to make things work with you because she doesn't love you, and I'm pretty sure she never has. She just wants a baby daddy that will give her money. I'm sorry. It really sucks, I know, but you're doing the right thing by breaking up. If you tried to make it work, you will fail. Again. And it's gonna be even more painful and more pathetic than your last attempt. Look man, the pick-me dance is a sad look to have. Don't be that dude. Look, the next step is to focus on building a happy, meaningful life with your son. You can only focus on one thing at a time. So direct all of your energy towards a positive outcome. By choosing to end it, by choosing to end this relationship, you took back control of your life. And that, OP, that is true power.
This is power.
Hey, it's an echo. Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/relationships, where OP's girlfriend is now majorly screwed, in more ways than one. Let's begin. She was never gonna stop lying. Posted by Reddit user TrySubstantial3634.
My now ex was never going to come clean when I'd bring up certain situations that the average person would come to the same assumption, because I made her life easy mode with what I was doing for her. My asks from her were well defined and didn't require too much of her, but were things that optimized my daily routine. So it behooved her to always deny, gaslight, and carpet sweep her questionable actions. Each example included below is simply an obvious sign that cannot be disputed. However, there were other signs for each situation that paint a worse picture. Since I didn't have indisputable proof for each, I'll refrain from mentioning it, but it should be obvious. Each situation is a completely separate situation. 1. Drunk texting neighbor late at night. 2. Drunk texting her boss late at night. 3. Missing condoms. I remember 30 plus 1.5 years prior, now there was only 26. 4. I split. She immediately downloads dating app, starts talking to dude. Trauma bond makes me come back a week later. She tells me she matched with someone and they've been talking on her own, which was a welcome surprise to hear her being forthcoming. I just tell her, but phrase it as a question. You gonna tell him you are unavailable now and stop texting, right? She says absolutely. Come to find out, after verifying myself, days later, she was texting hundreds of messages from 9 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. in one day alone. Mind you, I stopped there and didn't continue scrolling. Left and finally told myself enough with this. Despite any feelings of guilt for leaving her, and her young daughter in a financial state where they can't afford the rent alone, I'm not in lease, I'm gone and not looking back. I really care for her daughter, she's a great kid. Unfortunately, her actions just cost her daughter a stable life. Supporting them would be a small piece of pie, but maybe throwing her in the end of the pool is what she needs to grow up. TLDR. X has screwed up too many times and would deny regardless of the number of signs brought up. I can understand why she would lie. I offered her too much security. Even if my assumptions are all wrong, the parts that are indisputable are still enough for me to split.
Unfortunately, there are just some people that need that thrill. If they were settled, then they would look somewhere else. They never work on the relationship that they are in. And I'm glad that you got out of that kind of relationship, OP. But I'm gonna be honest, I'm really sad about the daughter. It's gonna be very hard on her, but I don't see any way that you can avoid that. Her mom is fucking toxic, and eventually that toxicity would destroy you. We all reach a point that we have to save ourselves. You can't set yourself on fire just to keep others warm. In the end, all things that could happen are just consequences of her stupid actions. I hope the daughter would turn out to be someone better. And now for today's second story. What a difference a year makes. Posted by Reddit user Vape Life Odd is New.
I have had suspicions about my wife for months now. I have expressed my concerns and fears over this time and she has reassured me, but nothing in her odd behavior has changed. Today, I had to do something on her phone to make sure it's ready for trade-in, and I took a minute to snoop. I'm not sure if I was hoping to finally confirm my fears or put my mind at ease, but my fears were confirmed. There are definitive statements that she fucked him one afternoon not too long ago, and she loves him. I showed her what I saw and she admitted it. We have things to deal with for the kids right now, so the discussion is on hold. I don't know where to go from here. Is it even worth having a discussion? How can I believe anything she says to me? I'm questioning so much right now and feel like so much of the last 12 years of my life is up in the air. After spending the last couple days dissecting the last year and all the lies, deceit and other bullshit, I realized that my wife hasn't worn her rings in months. At the time she stopped, her reasoning was because of her weight gain. Now that I'm seeing everything in a new light, in previous episodes of weight gain she had always put them on a chain to still have with her. I can't help but feel my own ring is tainted now and represents all the betrayal I've experienced. So for the first time in over 12 years, I'm not wearing it. It's been a wild ride since I discovered my soon-to-be ex-wife was having an affair. Well, today the signed divorce agreement was filed with the courts and should be finalized in 30 days. Those first couple weeks were a crazy roller coaster of emotions, but I ultimately decided I'd rather have the unknown potential misery of being alone than the misery of knowing I was with someone who could do those things to me. I had to make a couple concessions to keep things moving fast, but overall, I'm pleased and not quite as financially destroyed as I thought I would be. I should get to keep the house. That will be up to the bank now, and so far we're surviving the co-parenting stuff. Soon to be ex-wife and I still have to live in our house together for about 2 more months, so no contact has been nearly impossible. In the interest of moving on as fast as possible, I have decided to not give a fuck about anything she does and spend my time caring about my kids and myself. As a result, we found ourselves getting along more peacefully and quietly watching a show on the DVR together. Tonight we ended up having some real conversations and she ended up confessing that her emotional affair had in fact turned physical a few times before she got caught, as well as a few times in the 4 years since then. My lesson to take into the future is to trust my gut. One of the encounters she told me about was a night that I had long had suspicions about. This knowledge is having a mixed impact on me at the moment. For the past couple months, I've been saying my biggest regret is not leaving when I found out about the emotional affair, and that regret is now deepened. On the flip side, I feel a sense of vindication that it's okay to act on my feelings and gut when I know something is off, and I have to trust myself at least as much as I trust others. Sorry for the rambling. It does help to write this down and get some perspective. 1 year has passed since D-Day and things are going very well. I just looked at my old posts, and I'm so glad I didn't let my fears of financial loss or the kids having a broken home stop me from doing what needed to be done. Managed to get the divorce done quick and keep the house. I had to keep some debt too and my interest rate went up, so I took a hit financially, but I'm not destroyed like I thought would happen. The kids seem to be doing well with the transition, and given the way their summer and school schedules work out, I get to see them almost every day even if they don't spend the night with me, which they do at least half the time. As you could tell if you look at my comment history, Chump Lady gives my favorite advice. I'm not perfect at following it, but I have built up a life and removed FW from it significantly. She still causes the occasional issue, but it doesn't bother me now that I have zero expectations of her. I did the online dating thing and met a wonderful woman, and we've been together for nearly 6 months now. It has been eye-opening to be with someone who isn't in it just for themselves. I finally feel like I have a partner and can't wait to explore more of life with her. The kids got to meet her a couple months ago and she fits right in. I realize I'm lucky in how smoothly things have gone so far, but I do believe happiness is possible for all of us.
OP, I've read all of your posts, and I have to say, while I know you've been through the ringer with the long-term betrayal, you maintained a strength of will and focus that had been rewarded. A well-deserved life for a well-deserving man. I wish you the best, OP. Good luck. And now, for today's final story. How do you get over your ex spreading lies about you after the divorce? Posted by Reddit user Yellow Cosmic Warrior.
So my story is I was cheated just before the marriage, but forgave. Over the marriage time I witnessed her occasionally flirting at party, and when I challenged her on the way back home, I was always told I overreact. I promised to myself that when it happens again, I quit. And it happened. Flirty relationship for over a month over Instagram. They met for a date while she lied to me she would be at a coffee shop reading a book. I challenged her, and was gaslight again and again that I was controlling. Neglected her for a few months after my dad died and I was depressed. I had a wake-up call. I requested a divorce. Now on social media, and among common friends she portraits me as abusive, below her standards, controlling and a liar. While I know it's not true, I have evidence saved, so I know what was factual. I looked after her to the point that I realized I was codependent. Not only emotionally as she had difficult childhood, romantically and in bed, but also in materialistic way, funding her lifestyle, holidays, savings, photography school and equipment so she can start a business. I just see it so unfair the way I am portrayed. At the same time I don't want to backlash on her, do the same stuff and post oh look at poor me posts. I want to get over it in the healthiest way possible. She has this cute girl attitude and looks and people just believe her. Now it comes to the point where she reposts things which suggest almost that it was her who ditched me. While the facts are I filled for divorce, organized lawyers and solicitors. I realize that those friends were not really friends, as no one from them contacted me to check how I feel or ask about my perspective. She portrays me as if I'm the bad because I divorced her. I'm in a therapy, but do you have your own tried and tested method how to get over it?
OP, you have evidence, right? So post all of them. Set her world on fire. She fired you from your job of protecting her, so dude, stop fucking protecting your cheating ex-wife. Don't even lie about it. But on the same note, don't let her lie about you. That is the great thing called evidence. That's what they're used for, to destroy lies. And in my opinion, it's always healthy to spread the truth. If you really want her to stop spreading lies about you, go talk to a lawyer, man. They can make it happen. Good luck. Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/nuclear revenge, where OP got a really satisfying outcome in more ways than one. Let's begin. She cheated on me, so I had a threesome with her ex-boyfriend and the guy she cheated on me with. Oh man, I can already tell this is gonna be funny. And this one is posted by Reddit user PurePepper3666.
To clear up any confusion that might come up, you have to know that I am a bisexual man. I love sharing this story because I'm still proud of it. A few years ago, my ex-girlfriend cheated on me with another guy. She then had the audacity to tell me that if I was a grown-up, that I could deal with it and that she hopes we can still be friends. But she lost any feelings for me and is fully in love with this new guy now. If she hadn't said that, I probably wouldn't have made this plan. But now I had to teach her a valuable lesson. I was in a depressed state for a long time and couldn't bring myself to delete her number. And she thought I was her friend now. She started to send me pictures of her and her new boyfriend with laughing emojis. She didn't even care about how much she had hurt me. And then one day while I went through Tinder, I found someone who was quite familiar. Her new boyfriend. Of course, I wouldn't tell her that her new boyfriend is on Tinder. In fact, I matched with him, which was quite surprising because I thought he was straight and we started a conversation. He didn't know who I was. She never told him she was in a relationship while she was flirting with him. But this was perfect. We had longer conversations and he told me more and more about him. Over the weeks we learned more and more about each other, and now I had a plan. I suggested that we could meet each other at a bar. He agreed. Keep in mind he was still in a relationship with my ex-girlfriend at that time. When we met we had a great time. And one date became many dates. It took me few months, but then I got him to the point where he developed feelings for me and I was his affair. What he didn't know, I got in contact with my girlfriend's former ex-boyfriend as well. He broke up with her because he came out as gay. I was in contact with both guys, the ex-boyfriend and I got along very well. In fact, I made him a close friend of mine. In our conversations with my new boyfriend, we talked about sexual desires and he told that he always wanted to have a threesome. So I suggested one with the gay ex-boyfriend. I knew that he was his type because we kinda look alike and he had feelings for me, so I asked the gay ex-boyfriend if he wanted to become the third one, and to my surprise he said yes. I'm honestly still surprised how all of that worked out without her noticing, but it did, and then the day came where I decided to go nuclear. The two guys came to my apartment. I lead them to the bedroom and they started talking to each other. While they talked, I took a selfie from a safe distance, close enough that she could see their faces, but far enough that they wouldn't notice. Then the action started. Of course, I won't go into any detail, but damn, I enjoyed it more than anything in the world. A few days after this, I told him that now that I granted him the wish of a threesome, I wanted something in return. I told him that I don't want to be in an affair any longer, and told him that he should either break up with her or I will break up with him. I knew it was hardcore manipulative, but I had a plan, and I had the full control over him. He actually broke up with her and threw her out. I even got him to move out of his apartment to move in with me, meaning that she lost both her home and her boyfriend. But I wasn't done yet, because after that she texted me with crying emojis that her boyfriend dumped her and that she regrets leaving me. I then said, "Your boyfriend? Are you talking about this guy?" And I sent her the selfie I took. She called and texted me several times, but I ignored her. My plan was almost successful. There were only 3 things left that I still had to do. The first was that I told her mother, who hates infidelity more than anything, because her father cheated on her mother with another woman. You could say, like father, like daughter. Her mother was angry but thanked me for telling her. From what I've heard is that her mother cut ties with her, but I admit that I don't know if that actually happened, and I don't think that it happened. But it would be funny if it was true. The second thing I did was dumping him because unfortunately for him, he was a cheater too and I hate infidelity as well. The last thing I did was going out with the gay ex-boyfriend. And after a few dates we got together and we are still a couple. In the end I destroyed both her and the guy she cheated on me with and couldn't be prouder of myself.
Okay. So let me get this straight, OP. You had a threesome with your ex's ex-boyfriend and her new boyfriend by lying about wanting to be his boyfriend while not telling him that you are his girlfriend's ex-boyfriend. Then you made your ex-girlfriend's ex-boyfriend your new boyfriend. Did I get that right? And then after that, you stomped on your ex-girlfriend's broken heart after you destroyed her relationship with her mother. Ooh, man, OP, you fucking devil. I'm proud of you. This is a great story, and I really am proud of you. But dude, you need to calm down there, Satan. This is definitely nuclear revenge. And you know what I find extremely funny about this? Your ex-girlfriend thought that she was upgrading. That's why usually women cheat. They think they're upgrading to a bigger, stronger man. And then imagine the fucking heartbreak or the dissonance in her head when she discovered that her new big, strong man is now the bitch of the ex that she dumped for him. What the fuck, dude? That's a serious kick in her ego and in her metaphorical balls. That is gold. And you know what? I think this is going to be a great holiday film, you know? I think this is going to be a great movie. And then we'll call it Cock, Block, and Lock, The Web of Dicks. Our next story is from r/SurvivingInfidelity. My wife of 5 years just revealed that she cheated on me less than 24 hours ago. Posted by Reddit user Majestic Dentist.
I'm a 30-year-old man. She is 26 and she cheated on me less than 24 hours ago. She claims it's the first and only time, but I don't think I can trust her. I'm a shift worker, so I was on my night shift from 6 to 6 when the infidelity took place. Yesterday night she left with our 2 daughters to take them to her parents' house. I left to work my shift around the same time. She was dressed nicely because after dropping our daughters off, she was supposed to be attending a birthday party at a local restaurant. Around the time they were finishing eating, I called to check in with her to see how she was doing and if they were doing anything afterwards. She told me they planned to go to a bar, then she would be headed back to her parents' house to stay the night there with my daughters. I told her okay, be careful, and I loved her. After this point, I had tried texting her a few times but she never responded. I just chalked it up to that she must be busy with her friends or that she had already made it back to her parents and went to sleep. Then around 4:30 a.m. she calls me hysterically crying saying that I needed to come home because she was spiraling and needed me to help her. She didn't explain why, just that she needs me immediately. So I leave work early and rush out to meet her at our house. I got home before her and started calling her to see where she was at, but the first couple times I called she didn't answer. But then she finally picks up and is still crying, saying things like she wants to kill herself and she doesn't want to be on this earth anymore because she suffers from anxiety and depression. I immediately thought she is just in a bad place at the moment. I just start reaffirming her that she's loved and that whatever is going on, we can work out if she will just get to the house so I can comfort her. She almost immediately stops me and says that I needed to stop because when she got there and told me what she needed to tell me, I was going to hate her. Instantly when she said this, I felt sick to my stomach. She eventually pulls up and at first doesn't want to get out of the car. But after me standing at the door to her car for a few moments, she opens it. She then tells me that she had cheated on me with a guy she went home with from the bar. All the air went out of me because I would have never expected this from her. I then asked her what the guy's name was, and she told me his name was Christian. A little backstory. She likes social media, so she is usually always on Snapchat, Facebook, or TikTok. There has been several instances that she has either willingly told me or that she showed me that guys were messaging her. But if they ever became flirty, she always informed them that she was married or she blocked them completely. About 2 weeks ago, she informed me that a guy was messaging her through private messages on Messenger and that he was being flirtatious, so she blocked him. That same guy found her on Snapchat though and began messaging her on there. She then told him that she was married and that she was not interested, but to my knowledge never blocked him in any way. I asked what his name was and she told me it was Christian. So flashback forward to her telling me she cheated and that his name was Christian. I connected the dots that it must be the same guy. I asked her if it is the same guy and she said yes it was. She claims he saw her posts on Snapchat that she was at that said bar and went to seek her out. When he got there, they proceeded to talk and she became drunk and said she was feeling vulnerable and decided to go back to his house with him, where they proceed to having sex. She said she immediately regretted it and started crying for him to bring her back to her car so she can go home, which then led her to telling me within a few hours after doing it. After she told me, I asked why she had done it. Says that I had not been showing her enough affection lately, so she was feeling separated and lonely. So when he showed up telling her that she was beautiful, she could not help herself but feel good about it. I felt heartbroken because I have devoted my entire life to my daughters and my wife. If I'm not at work, I'm with them every moment I can be, even though I do have a hard time showing affection because of the way I was raised. But I've been that way since we first met 6 years ago. She claims it was a giant mistake and that it will never happen again if I just forgive her. But she claims that I should take part of the blame too, since I didn't show her enough affection. I just don't know how to feel. Did I really fail her as a husband that led her to do this, or was she already wanting to do this but now regrets it and wants to try to shift the blame? I still love her, but I don't think I could ever trust her again. I don't think I'll be able to be romantic with her without picturing them together if we do decide to try to work things out. But if we don't, I'm afraid I will not get to see my daughters like I want to, which is what I think I'm most afraid of. I just want someone's advice. I don't want to go public with it yet with our families because I know it's most likely is going to cause irreversible turmoil.
OP, this was not your fault. She is blame shifting. She liked the fact that he was sending her comments. In fact, that's the exact reason why she didn't block him in the first place. He almost certainly didn't track her down through her Instagram post. She either invited him or he invited her. This would have need to be planned in some way. Or at least she must knew that meeting a guy in a bar would most likely lead to sex. Knowing that every time she goes out, there's a chance that she is meeting up with yet another guy who gave her compliments when you didn't? I mean, think about it. Is that really a life you want to live? Don't make the dumb decision of forgiving her and taking her back. Tell your friends and family what she did. Talk to a lawyer immediately. This was her fault, not yours. So stop pretending to be this white knight for a cheater. Go nuke her shit. She was the one who ruined your marriage. She was the one that decided to destroy your family. She decided that forcing her daughters to live in a broken home is worth another man's dick. Is that really the kind of person you want to be married to? OP, it's very obvious what you should do. You just need to do it. Your daughters deserve a strong, reliable father, not a spineless simp. Good luck. Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and welcome to r/relationship advice, where OP met a lesbian who might not actually be a lesbian. Let's begin. My girlfriend's lesbian best friend just grabbed my dick when we were drinking. Posted by Reddit user Explain the Brain.
We were out drinking and came back to my girlfriend's best friend's apartment. We're all sitting by each other on the couch, and I have my hands wrapped around both of them. There's a blanket on us and we're just talking. My girlfriend doesn't mind that her best friend is all touchy because she's lesbian and has only ever been into girls. Well, under the covers, she starts rubbing my leg and eventually my dick. I immediately got up and acted like I needed to use the bathroom. I didn't want to say anything, but I also feel like my girlfriend should know. I just know it'll destroy their friendship. We acted like everything was normal the next day and haven't spoken about it since 2 weeks ago. Edit. I'm also worried that her best friend will call me a liar and she might be inclined to believe her because she legit has only ever been with girls. No male hookups or relationships. So her best friend might play it off like I was too drunk to remember and that I'm tripping. But I definitely wasn't and I clearly remember. Edit 2. I can't get through every comment, but I'm reading them all and appreciate it very much. I wrote this in response to the top comment and put it here too. First, to the people who are asking me why I didn't enjoy it and saying it's every man's dream, you are dumb. I'm sitting next to the love of my life, someone who I choose to be exclusively with, and another person made an unwanted advance. It was uncomfortable, a betrayal of trust to her best friend, and as many people called out in this thread, it's SA. In terms of next steps, someone called out showing her this thread and I think that's what I'll do. After thinking about it more, I know she's going to believe me, but I also know she's going to be very hurt and betrayed. This a friend she is inseparable with. Thank you all for the comments and helping me think through this. I will have an update this weekend if anyone's interested. Edit 3. Telling her tomorrow morning. Sorry I can't respond to everything. Thanks all for the support. And to the people who are fantasizing about the position I was in, get it together. Some weirdos in this thread. Edit 4. The final update. I did it. I told my girl the story and she was definitely in shock at first. She asked a lot of the stuff that people called out in the thread. She was surprised because she's lesbian, but understands that we were drinking and she could have just been curious. She never doubted me. She wasn't behind it, as some people thought was a possibility. She definitely did not want a threesome. She's not going to be friends with her. I told her it's up to her if she wants to call her out and what she wants to say. She's going to say something and end the friendship. She's really hurt, a little quiet through it and needs some time to process. And I'll just be here for her any way I can.
OP, if I were you, I would have said something the moment that it happened. The good thing is, she didn't pull the, I'm a lesbian. No, I didn't. I would never. You're mistaken. I just accidentally touched it, etc., etc. Whatever the case may be, it's still weird. Honestly, if I was a woman and my lesbian best friend started getting touchy with my man, yeah, no. Boundaries, people. It's called boundaries. It's healthy to have them. OP, she touched you in a very private and intimate place without getting your consent and knowing full fucking well that you're her best friend's boyfriend. So yeah, I'm glad that you told your girlfriend, and I'm glad that she believed you, because if she didn't, then she belongs to the streets, man. You don't need that in your life. Because far too often than not, people that experience sexual assault, sexual harassment are not believed, especially in men, which is sad, really fucking sad. I'm glad that it worked out for you though. Good luck, man. And now, for today's second story. I caught my girlfriend of 2 years cheating on me. Posted by Reddit user Strange Ninja.
I just went to my girlfriend's house to get my guitar and caught another guy there. This just happened about an hour ago and I just need some advice. I feel empty inside and just need some people to talk to about this because I can't think clearly. Some backstory. Jenny's husband passed away a few years ago at the exact same time my ex-wife and I got divorced because she had an affair, and we started dating about 2 years ago. She has 5 kids, who I've known their whole lives, and was friends with her husband. I started coming around after he passed to check up on the kids, and they got attached to me really quickly, so I came around often to spend some time with them. After a while, me and Jenny started dating. I moved in pretty quickly and helped her with the kids and paying bills. After about 6 months, we started having issues, a lot of them having to do with me being stressed out a lot, jumping from 0 kids to helping take care of 5 so rapidly. I'll admit, I could have handled the stress better and had a lot of trust issues from my ex-wife that was affecting the current relationship, and I started seeing a therapist. We had a big fight one night, and we decided that it was best for me to move out for the time being, so I did. I still came over every night after work and stayed with them on the weekends. We continued dating for the next year and a half leading up until now. She started a new job recently, and about a month ago, I noticed that she stopped texting me as much at work. We had been getting into stupid arguments lately, and so I thought it was because of that. My birthday was a few weeks ago, and we went out for that, and I noticed she was distant, but we met up with my sister and her husband and some friends and still enjoyed the night. 2 days later, we were sitting on the front porch talking before I left. We usually would do that every night before I left, to have a little time between us without the kids. She then tells me she isn't happy, and she wants a break for about a month to figure everything out. I oblige, and she said she would like to get couples counseling because she still loves me very much and wants this to work, but wanted to work through it but just needed some space. I still would come over about 2 nights a week, mostly to spend time with the kids. I asked her if she still wanted us to get counseling, and she said yes. Yesterday I was getting all of it set up, and she said she was happy we were getting counseling. Today I wanted to get my guitar I left over there, and I asked her if I could swing by real quick and grab it. And she started acting really weird, saying she would meet me with it. So I got suspicious and drove over there to grab it, and I see a random vehicle in the driveway. At this point, she's already getting in the car trying to meet me in the street to give it to me, which is really weird because I'm already pulling in. I asked whose car it was, and she said it was her brother's friend's car. Her brother started living there a few months ago because he needed a place to stay, but I could tell she was lying. I then say let's go inside, and she finally admits that someone is in there. I ask her who it is, and she says it's a guy from work. She said they started talking right after the break because she was trying to figure out what she wanted because of the issues we were having recently. I do believe that they waited until after she said she needed some time, but I'm still in shock that she didn't even wait a month before she has this guy spending the night even with her oldest daughter there. A few days ago, when I came to spend time with the kids, she was acting really flirty with me, and so after I told the kids a bedtime story and walking out the door, I kissed her and we started making out pretty heavily. She turned down my advances of trying to go to the room really quick, and then I leave, and then she texts me that she misses me. Today, while I was at her house, I wanted to get some answers about when it started, because I wanted to know if she had cheated on me or waited until afterwards. And it turns out she at least waited until afterwards, but they had to have at least been flirty at work for them to start talking as soon as we go on a break. She told me she still wanted to get counseling because she's trying to figure out what she wants, but now I don't even know if I want that anymore. I don't even know how I'll be able to come around anymore to see the kids, because I don't know how I'll even be able to look at her. She wants to talk with me tomorrow. I didn't get emotional at all, which I'm at least proud of. And the guy could hear me at this point because we were closer to the door, and I asked if he knew she made out with me the other night. I didn't know what else to do, so I just calmly said I'm leaving. I don't know where to go from here. I love those kids like they're my own, and I don't know how I can go without them, and they look at me like a father figure. Any advice would be helpful. I don't know if it's worth trying to still get counseling, or if I could ever trust her again. But part of me wants to, not just for her, but for the kids too. She said the younger kids don't know about him, but the oldest does. I think that's the part that hits me so hard, that she's already introduced him to her and it's only been 3 weeks. We're going to talk to her tomorrow when the other kids come back from their grandparents, and I just need advice about how it should even go. I'm just numb right now because it took me a lot of therapy to get to where I could trust someone again, and now this happens.
Oh man, OP. Dude, she brought him around her kids. It's over. Seriously, this might be the one thing that would piss me off if I were in OP's position. OP, you did everything for the kids and her when you didn't have to when your friend died and looked after them. And what did she do for you in return? She did the exact same thing that your ex-wife did that gave you tremendous amounts of trauma. It's one thing to cheat on someone, but to do it after they gave up their entire life for you and your kids, that just puts it in a whole new fucking level of disgusting. What a piece of shit. OP, you need to pack your bags. You need to pack your bags and go running for the hills. You need to get out of there. It's all over, man. Start the process needed for you to heal up. Start the process that you need to move on with your life. Your girlfriend and her kids does not concern you. But if you still really want to be part of the kids' life, just reach out to them. Make sure to tell them that you will always be there for them as their friend. As their friend, not their father. Make sure that that is clear. You are not going to be their father and you will not be their father figure. Because if you do that, that will open a new gate of hell. She might be able to sue you for child support. And you do not want that. Good luck. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my YouTube channel for you to watch absolutely free. So consider clicking that super thanks just below the video title, or you can use my PayPal in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, make sure to subscribe to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.